Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I wanted to send out this message to you personally so that you guys get to know who Kent and I really are. So I want to let you guys in on like what my story is, where I came from. I'm Rebecca, I go by Bex, and this is part of our page of like why we came into digital marketing, how we got here, what my backstory is, so you guys kind of know who who we are and who I am and like who you could potentially be working with if you choose to decide to start creating an online income, right? If that's the direction you want to go. So things like pixels and landing pages, email lists, these were complete like this is total techno babble. And if that's how you're feeling, like that's okay. That's like I felt like that. I was like, what do they mean? Like an email list? Like I have a few friends, like I don't know. And so that was normal. That's how we all feel and that's okay. So here's how I got here. Here's how we got here. It's been just over a year of us doing the online stuff. You know, we kind of played around. Kent was doing it, and I did it, and we just kind of bounced back and forth, not really finding our groove, right? And we've done that now. We've done a lot of work on ourselves, figuring out like how we can work well together because we're doing this as a couple. This isn't a requirement for anybody. You don't have to do it as a couple. You can do it individually, however you'd want to. So, I grew up in a family of four. I have an older brother. I have two incredible parents who, when I was growing up, they did their best. They worked their butts off, did whatever they could for us. And my dad even worked 2 hours of overtime every single day just so that I could play out of town sports, right? So that is like dedication of what really like hard work is. And so he ended up having a wonderful pension, and it was always ingrained in me that you need to have a good pension, you want to have a good job, you want benefits, all those things that can cost extra money, right? So that was something that I just always thought like I have to get these things in order to support my family. There was never any talk of anything entrepreneurial or just that kind of direction, right? And that wasn't, so I never thought about it. It never crossed my mind. And my mom worked hard, she was always working. But you know, like my dream was always to just be a stay at home mom. And I always wanted to help people, and I didn't know how I could impact people, help them, and still be at home raising kids, right? Like this blew Kent's mind. I wanted 5 kids, right? We have one right now, and I would love to have more kids. Like that's part of our goals now is to have more children. So that just seemed like a dream to me though. Like I didn't think that that was going to be possible for me because I hadn't thought of a way that I could do this, and I didn't want to disappoint. I didn't want to put off my parents and like disappoint the people that I felt were the most important people in my life, but I wasn't focusing on what I felt was right inside for me, right? So I went to school, I became a registered nurse. 4 year actually took me 5 years of school, but I'll get into that in just a minute. So think about this for a second is we are all entrepreneurs since we were little. You ever had a lemonade stand? You did something where you made something and you sold it, right? That's being an entrepreneur in a smaller sense, right? Does that make sense? So like for myself, this is hilarious is I think I was like 11 years old. We were out camping, and if anyone is aware, like if you've been by the ocean, you know what kelp is. It's like that stuff that goes down in the water, and it's got a big brown ball and lots of like looking hair seaweedy stuff coming off of it, right? So I used to cut those and I made them into dolls camping. I'm not even kidding. They were the most hideous things you've ever seen. Like, if I can find a photo, I will drop it one day and show you guys if you ever ask me. And so my parents, they never told me how bad these things were. Oh my gosh, I think back now and I'm like, wow. But like campers bought these from me. I set up a little stand at the campsite and I sold these dolls that were gonna dry out and start stinking if you took it home. But still, I did it, right? And that is the point is that I created something and I chose to sell it and I was confident. I thought it was amazing, right? And I was 11. And that's us being entrepreneurs. I'm sure that each and every one of you guys have done something. If you can think back, you've done something. And you know, as I got older, I always wanted to jump in on the home parties, right? Selling candles or jewelry, whatever it may have been. But it was like constantly told to me from my family. So this was an ingrained thing that I thought was true is that I would be annoying. There's going to be money that to stock products and do all those things that those little home businesses do, right? So I never went after that. And it constantly I would talk myself out of things instead of actually following what I felt inside. I feel it right here when I love something and I want to do it and I'm passionate about it, but I would never actually go for it because I was so scared to disappoint somebody. And I was so scared of what other people would think. So then again, so it all comes back to really my relationship with money and how I felt about money. Like I would always say, I don't have the money to invest. I don't have enough money to do that. I can't buy these things because I don't have enough money. And yet I had time to go out like once, twice a week for dinners with friends or even coffee every day with girlfriends. Like it's that relationship with money and what we see as the most important things to do, right? And where we can make cutbacks and do those things, which I hadn't yet realized or come to that realization. So again, coming back now, I went away to school. I graduated high school. I took a year off, went and had some fun for a year, and then realized I couldn't live off of that budget because that's what I always told myself, right? But yet I still live the same based on, doesn't matter what you bring in. I'm still living the same kind of lifestyle. I'm not sure if that sort of makes sense. But again, so I didn't want to disappoint, so then I went away to school, and it actually took me 5 years because after 2 years of nursing school, I dropped out because I was like, I can't do this. This is too stressful. I'm not a student. I don't like this. There's got to be a different way. But then at the time, Kent and I were still sort of fresh together, right? And he's like, well, this isn't what I planned for us. Like, I thought the plan was like, I'm going to be an electrician. You're going to be a nurse. This is what we're going to do. Like, I don't know if that's not who you are, right? We had this conversation and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose this guy. And then same thing, my parents, they helped fund schooling for me. And I wanted their support and I wanted all of their things, but so I didn't want to disappoint. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was working at the golf course as a beer cart girl. Loved it. Like, so much fun. I love talking to people, getting to know people's stories, where you come from, what do you do, what do you want to do, what are your dreams and aspirations. But I didn't know how to go about finding something else in that short year window if I still wanted my family support and everything, right? So then now I'm going to jump forward to now. I had an aha moment. So this is a little later in life. Like Kent and I, so we're going to be hitting 10 years together in November now. So I was young when I met him. I was 19. I was still struggling with what I wanted out of life. And so 22, I dropped out. I was like, wow, like what am I doing, right? So anyways, I had my aha moment. This was about a year ago, I guess I would say. So we've been in this for just over a year. I came across a girlfriend's post. This is before we jumped in. And she was doing some digital marketing and she was completely changing her family's life and like her life. She's a registered social worker. I'm a registered nurse. Her husband was working up north in Alberta. If anyone is familiar with the locations of Canada, like Alberta, BC. We live in BC. And she brought her husband home to work locally in just 2 months. And I was like, what's she doing? But instead of taking the initiative myself and jumping in, I looked at Kent and I said, you should really check this out. Because he always said to me, he's like, there's got to be more to life than just living every day to work so that I can have my weekends to maybe do something and catch up on life. Does that make sense, right? Like he was kind of, and I was like, oh, you're crazy. Like I'm doing shift work. I have a great career. This is what I worked for my whole life. I'm 29 now and like, wow, I'm going to do this forever. And I was a mess. I was a head case, like stressed to the nines. I wasn't sleeping. I felt sick all the time. I wasn't happy. We fought, like all those struggles that you get, right? And so anyways, he went and he looked into this because he was at a breaking point, I think, of like what are we going to do with our life? And he did not want to be an electrician forever. And so he looked into this and he jumped in full throttle. And I was like, you are crazy. I had all those preconceived thoughts of like, wow, money is an issue. What is everyone going to think of us? We actually were just talking about, before I found this post from my girlfriend Carly, who you guys will see on a lot of the calls and stuff if we go any further with this. And she I was so worried just what everyone else would think, right? Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. But anyway, so Kent jumped in full throttle, and I kind of sat in the background. I remember at our old house, we had our desk and our spare room, the bed there, and I would hide. So we do lots of video chats and we talk to everybody that we work with, and we just catch up, make sure that everyone's up to date. If you have questions, questions are getting answered. There's just an intense amount of support. Like, it's incredible. And I thought, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, how is this happening? Like, how is everyone happy, helpful, doing all these things? Like, it just kind of blew my mind. It took me a couple months to realize, like, okay, this is like the new norm. These guys are really creating something here, and I want to be a part of this, because just watching them and feeding off that energy, not even being involved in the conversations, I was starting to feel better about myself. I was like, wow. So we started jumping into gratitude practice, and we started focusing on what we could do better for our family. How are we going to make this business work? How can we do this, right? So we harnessed the supports around us. And so then I jumped in. It was a couple months later, and then boom, jumped in, got everything shut down. So, like, there's struggles with this. Like, there can be hard things. And I was like, wow. I just fought with myself in my own head, telling myself, wow, I'm not good enough for this. I can't do this. Like, why did I think I could do this? Really, right? And then instantly, our mentor, Aaron, you'll also see him. He is an amazing, incredible human. And he instantly jumped on a video chat with me. He's like, what's going on? What happened? How did it go? And he screen shared with me, and he got me back up, running, restarted, everything. And I was like, whoa. I went from crying, upset, frustrated, everything, to feeling supported, empowered, and just like, wow, I can really do this, because I have all of these mentors and supports and people around me that are going to help me create success. So that's what Kent and I are doing now too, right? Is we want to just help each and every person out there, because it's not that we don't want to work. We want to work for ourselves, but we want to work with meaning, and we want to have power behind that meaning and be able to really create something for each person in a way that is with support, and it surrounds your own goals and your own dreams. So we've also decided we jumped in full force into the personal development part of all of this too. We really encourage that, and we've gone to lots of courses. We've gone to lots of masterminds with people. We get together with people and focus. And when I say get together, it doesn't mean local. Some of our closest friends now are from all around the world, and it's so cool. You just got to figure out a time that works for you to connect. And so we dived into the personal development. We've done lots of things there. I feel like I've got my head straight, and you start to become comfortable in who you are. And I'm super comfortable getting uncomfortable now, because when you get uncomfortable, you realize that something awesome is about to happen. Instead of shutting down with that feeling, which I used to think was anxiety, I'm not saying that anxiety is not a real thing. Just for myself, I've been able to recreate that feeling to know like something awesome is about to happen. So, and then, yeah, anyways, so that's just recreated my personal ways of knowing and how we want to help people, right? And so by stepping out of that norm, I've truly been able to, I've never been happy in my life until this last year. I've realized, right? We stepped out, we started doing something different, which is terrifying, because we constantly get those questions like, are you making any money yet? What's going on? What are you guys doing? And they don't get it, right? Everything's revolved around the money. And yet, yes, I'm sure that's a lot of questions that everybody's got, but everything is laid out in all the training that we have of how that's created, right? That is not our main focus here. And yes, it is breaking so many people free, and that is our ultimate goal. So right now, since we started in the last year, my relationship with Kent, the two of us, we finally set a date for our wedding. We've been engaged for over 5 years, and we just could not figure out how to do that, right? And prioritize the things in our life. And we've found that love again and done those things. And we're better parents to our son. We have better relationships with our family members. We don't get mad like we used to. Life is just that much better now, right? And so we just are so excited to help and to just sort of guide other people and to learn how to do these things on your own as well, right? So and I'm all of a sudden I went from not sleeping, hating my job as a nurse and everything, to I get excited to go to work because it's become a funding station for me. And not only that, I've been having more meaningful conversations with the patients because I don't feel as stressed because I know how to deal with all of the emotions and feelings that come to me at that job, because it's a high stress job, right? If anyone works in the healthcare field, you guys know you deal with lots of people that are not willing to help themselves, and it kills me inside, right? Because I just want to help. There's just that drive to just love people and love each and every person. And the thing here too is if you feel like you relate to me at all, like, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I'm not perfect, and it takes work every single day. And I'm not perfect, but you can't compare. There's no comparing. You can't compare what maybe say I'm in chapter 6 of my life right now in my journey, but you're just going to start in chapter 1. There's no comparing, but there is the guiding, right? Like, I'll be able to guide and help, and Kent too, and just doing those things and working within the business, and we have training set out, and there's just so many things that are there. So I'm going to invite each and every one of you guys, and I want you guys to reach out to us and let us know if you want to discover how to create an income online, and if you want, if you're going to start your own business, and if you want to change your life, like if you feel like you're just not living to your full potential, if you want to change your life, if you want to dive in and become a happier person, and just for your families, your relationships, everything. Honestly, it has been an incredible journey for us, and I'm just so excited to grow our team, to help each and every one of you guys grow your team. So yeah, reach out to us, and just let us know. Let us know what your goals are, what you aspire to do. And it doesn't have to be the exact same thing as me, or even close, because that's the beauty of what we have here, is this system is going to support you in exactly what it is that you need. And I know it probably sounds a little crazy, but I promise that when you see it, you'll love it. And if you don't, we do a money back guarantee in 2 weeks. So let me know. Drop me a comment if you guys let's just start that conversation and get to know each other and get you guys diving in, okay? So yes, lots of love, and we'll chat soon.